Yo, people, so we're about to, I actually hate saying yo, people. Cut this thing off. Good work. The fan's fine. The air conditions. This room gets hot, y'all. We're about to train the general a little bit today. Stan, what do you look for in the training with dog in an all dogs training?
It's kind of a trick question.
There's no trick to it. It's like this: you black or you white. You either can or you can't.
They're all trainable to an extent.
Yeah.
Are they all trainable to the level that Rocco is? No. Just like, can Jamarcus and I get as big as you? Probably not.
Absolutely not.
But if we ate a bunch of food and did some other stuff, we might get close. There you go. There you go.
And even still, Frank Zane, Frank Colombo.
Yep.
They couldn't get as big as Arnold because Arnold was still 6'2". With the 52-inch chest, he was 250. Same thing with Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates, Flex Wheel. You go down the line, you go, even on the juice, you're never going to be 300 pounds with 2% body fat. I got a buddy that potentially is going to literally jump in his car and drive here. And I'm not going to say what he does or doesn't do, but what I would say is when you see him, he'll look like the difference and I'll look like a child. So can a dog, can all dogs go to heaven?
All dogs do go to heaven. There's a Disney movie about that one.
Charlie was a crook too.
and he still went. He made right. It was in his heart. It's the intention behind your actions.
There you go.
So one thing I look for is a motivated dog. I don't want a dog that's hiding in the corner. I want confidence. I want a dog that wants to go explore, search, jump on things. Because if you have that, you can mold them to exactly what you want them to do. Treat motivated, ball motivated. Just have some type of motivation to want to be better. The dogs that are picky with food, I don't really like those dogs because then you're like walking on eggshells trying to get them to do things. Dogs that don't like playing with things, it's just not as fun to be around. Like you guys hear Trevor say a lot of times, I didn't get a dog just to look at it. I want them to be a working dog. So those are things that I look for.
When I'm saying working dog, I don't even mean hunting and all this stuff. It just be like, yo, I want to go do something with my dog. Want to do it with us, I'll just stay in a waterfall. You see Tron and Eagle jump over a fence and all this other little stuff. Like, yo, I like doing these things. I mean, I was doing some crazy stuff yesterday at the gym. And, it forces people to be like, yo, this man's nuts. But I push myself because I like pushing myself, which means dogs, if they can't do nothing, they got to go.
Well, it's just like Rocco. So we were I like doing stuff with him. He was jumping on mailbox, climbing in trees, jumping through car windows. And then we had an opportunity to go on America's Top Dog. And we were doing the same stuff. And if I had never done those things with him, when we went on Top Dog, it would have been a whole different experience. But when we got there, it was the same stuff we've been doing his whole life. It was just on a bigger stage. So when we just accomplished everything we wanted to do when we got there.
So you'll take the children around, do a little training, and then you'll come back and give a little synopsis. We'll be able to overlay some stuff here. Mind you, keep this rolling because when you see it, people, General's probably one of my most motivated dogs in general. He's wired up. He needs a lot of direction. We've actually taken him downtown and he's had some crazy recall. I didn't even take a leash with me. And he just is like right there with you. And mind you, I'm not done. I spend a lot of time with him. Enough time with him, but he's just a good dog, man.
That's the most important thing. The time that you spend with your dog before you go to places with all of these distractions. You didn't first get him, how long you had him? About 2 months now? 3 months?
2 or 3.
And the first time you took him downtown was last week, 2 weeks ago?
Have we been downtown with him before?
No, that was the first time.
Yeah.
So you develop a relationship with your dog in an environment where they're not worried about other things. And when you go out, they're like, all right, there's other things, but I know this guy's interesting. I know he's fun. I know he likes me. And you're not going to have to worry about your dog running off. What people do is they don't spend time with their dog, and then they go to a dog park. And then that dog's at Disneyland, and you let him off leash. And you're like, hey, come back. We're about to go be boring again. And the dog's like, no, I want to stay here with my friends. So develop a relationship. That's where it starts with everything. The bond that you have with your dog, people. And you're going to see the steps that I take when I work with a brand new dog. Stay tuned.
What are you seeing? What you're not seeing? How it works?
Here you go, release.
Do you give him a release out of the kennel, or you just kind of...
But he runs out like a greyhound.
You just gonna run out like a greyhound.
Let's get started, people. All right, Marcus. So I'm going to instruct you on how to work with him.
Gotcha.
attention for the big moment. Yeah. All right, so the first thing that I like to do is when I get a dog out in the yard is we put the dog down and we let them explore. You're gonna let them pee. You're gonna let them get all of the. Well, he's already paying attention to Jamarcus, and this is what you want to see. If the dog's paying attention to you, that's when you want to work with them. You don't want to work with them if they're already distracted, because again, they're already distracted. So you got some treats?
I sure do.
Let's see. Let me grab some of these as well. Yeah, you know, we got stuff. There we go.
General.
Let him finish a little water. He's a little parched.
No, this nigga be fucking flooding that cage. Come on, let's go.
There he goes. Alright, so first, let him know you got something. So you also want the dog to know that they are getting paid for interacting with you. When a dog is doing anything for us, that is their job. So they need to get paid by something. Yes, sir. Good. And I think this is the first time I've ever interacted with him, right?
I think so, yeah.
So I just want him to know that I'm good. Whenever he hears certain things from me. Oh, he's about to pee. No? Nope. That's all right. Let's keep moving. That's a good boy. Yes. How old is he, do you know?
He was born in April, so it's like barely 5.5 months. Not even 6.
Right back to that water.
That's a boy. Good. So startle reflexes is one of those things that they're never gonna ever learn to ignore. If we start giving commands, it just becomes white noise to them. But noises, sounds, clicks, whistles. If something goes boom behind Jamarcus, he's gonna look. It's just human nature, it's animal nature, it's just mammals in general. Knew he had to pee.
So when we get his attention, what's next?
We get his attention, and then we're going to work on specifically recall first.
Okay.
Because recall is one of the most important things, and it's one of those things that's going to keep your dog safe. If your dog busts out of the front door, you want to be able to call that dog back. So, motion. So I'm going to come over here, get his attention, and then I'm going to turn him so he can see you. Start moving. General. There you go.
Oh, almost.
You got bored when he got
Stop
close. You got bored when he got close.
Gotcha.
So you want to make sure you're not stopping before the dog gets there. Eventually you will be able to, but in the learning phase, you want to make sure he goes all the way. Yes, sir. Good boy.
General.
Yeah, come on.
Good boy.
General. Good. Good job. Good job. Good job, Poops. Good job, Poops. And when you got a little dog, make it fun for him. Interact with him. This needs to be fun. Because if that dog goes off and they're trying to chase a squirrel, or if he's trying to chase a rat, you still want to be able to recall him back if he's headed toward the street. So try it again.
General.
Yes. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see. So when you're working with recall, you do not want to overdo it. You do not want to make it seem like every time you talk to the dog, they have to come to you, because it's going to become boring for them. So what's the next thing that you would teach a dog, Jamarcus?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the dog trainer.
Oh, I'm asking you. What's important to you?
I mean, obviously they listen. So I mean, I'm sure that's a common problem that most people have. They want their dog to listen, and it's not even just about recall. It's just in general. So, what would be the next step? Because I wouldn't know.
Well, that's a good answer. I like to teach patience. So we'll go sit. And I want to tell them stay. No, there's a little fun dog. So sit, stay, free. Good boy. And with a high drive, wiry dog like this, we want to get him that reward very quick. So now that was about 1 or 2 seconds. Now I'm going to try to get a 3 count.
Let's go, boy. You ready?
Sit. There it is. Stay.
Free. Good job. Good job. Good job.
And then we're going to give him a little break for a second. Let him sniff around. And when he comes back to want to work again, that's when we'll start.
You ready? Yes. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Because this does 2 things. This allows the dog to have the freedom to be a dog, and then it shows him that we're interesting. So when he shows us that interest, we're going to mark it. Right? Sit. Come on, come on. Oh, this way.
And this is where you have to be patient too. I think that's the other people. I think that's the other thing most people forget as well. You have to be very, very patient through this process.
Good job.
Training a dog is not like, oh, you do 2-3 reps and then they get it. It's constant work. And trust me, they're not going to get it every time too. And it can get frustrating. So if you have a short, you have a short fuse, you just got to be patient. Got to extend that fuse just about 5 seconds longer because they're not going to get it every time. And then I would say also they read off your energy too, if I'm not mistaken, right? So if you start getting frustrated, then they start getting less interested. And then they're like, I don't want to mess with this dude because he's over here getting mad at me. So that's something I know I did learn when it comes to this process.
Yep. And with a happy-go-lucky puppy like this, he's trying to figure out what we're wanting from him. And if you get frustrated, then he's going to associate interacting with you being upset. And if he runs out of that door and you say, come back, he's like, you're usually upset when you call me, so why am I going to go check in when I don't want to? So again, slow it down, sit. And then this word doesn't mean anything to him.
That's what I was going to say. I know he hasn't had any formal commands, to be clear.
Good job.
But just there.
Yeah.
You got a nice 4 count.
Now, do you recommend, real quickly, because I know a lot of people do this, I mean, because I do Rover from time to time, so people will bring their dogs and I ask, is there anything as far as recall, any commands that I should be aware of when it comes to the dogs? And, oh yeah, they know sit, stay, lay, paw, all these little things, and the dog is maybe 4 or 5 months old, if that. And how important would you say are those commands that early on versus the ones that are primary, like recall, for example, or even them just simply knowing their name?
So the tricks, if you're asking about the tricks specifically?
Yeah, the tricks specifically, because they're like, oh man, he'll do this or do that, all the trick stuff. But then you just simply say, hey, you do a recall, won't listen.
They have no clue.
Exactly, I have no idea what's going on.
So tricks, interaction with your dog, the spins, the rolling over, all of that stuff is very, very important because it builds a line of communication between you and the dog.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't even say a dog really knows something until they're about a year old.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like us. We've been taking math since, you start taking math in kindergarten,
yeah.
and you don't really get math until high school, college, and realistically into the real world.
Yeah.
So
and that
you
1 + 1 is adding up now.
Yeah, it does, right? So they can have an idea of what's going on, but they may not know. And that's the problem, that people expect these dogs to know what they're thinking when they've never actually communicated to the dog what they're wanting. A lot of people say, yes, I have a recall for my dog. When we feed mealtime, he automatically comes to the bowl. It's like, no, he doesn't have a recall. He has a routine in the house. When you grab this, when this noise is made, he's going to do that. But if you take that same dog and you go out in public, try to get that dog to come back, what's that dog going to do? Not a damn thing.
Exactly. And I know you like to say feeding times are always a great time to train. I think that's where I take a lot of my opportunity before I actually bring their bowls or they even know what's about to happen. I take them into the garage one by one and I do simple things where if we're working on heel, basic recall, those type of things, because they're already mentally food motivated at that moment in time because they know mealtime's about to happen soon, so they're going to do whatever it takes, right, in those moments to earn their meal per se. And then when mealtime comes, and it ends up on a really, really great note, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And it's the consistency of it. I can tell you, hey, go spend an hour a day working with your dog, and you're going to say, okay, cool. You're going to put it on your calendar, and then your mom's going to call, or your sister's going to call, or your TV's not working, whatever it is, there's going to be some type of excuse that you're not going to end up working with your dog. and it takes consistency, and it takes them knowing exactly what's expected. So that's why mealtime is cool, because you're gonna feed your dog at least once a day, every day, so you can get in those positive repetitions. But the most important part about it is, do not allow your dog to do something that you do not want them to do and still get that big reward. So if you go out with them and you try to feed them, or mealtime, and you're trying to feed them and they're not listening how you would like, don't reward them with still getting that meal, because that teaches the dog that they can flip you a bird and you're still gonna give them their paycheck. All right, so let's see if you can get him to stay for 2 seconds.
General.
Sit. Come on. Sit. Yes. Here you go. Good boy.
And you're already seeing a little bit more progress from him. He's understanding that, okay, this got me a reward. Okay, cool. So try it again. Try to get a 3 count this time.
Sit. Stay. Oh, no.
Working with little dogs is so funny.
I know. No.
So one thing you can do,
You took that out of my hand.
if he's not getting what you want, you can give him kind of like a brace as an assistant.
Gotcha.
So we'll get him. I know you can hop over. So we'll go here, and I want to tell him. So like I'm guiding him down, but I'm not pushing. The moment you put too much pressure, it's going to cause him to not care about these treats.
Yeah.
Jen. That's a boy. I know it's hot. One more. So it'll be like, sit. Nope. Yes, sir. Take it away, hand away, and free. Free. Good job, almost. Good job. So give that a shot. See if that helps.
And also, this is one of those things, as he even said, we'll probably do one more, and then identify, when to stop,
Yes.
and not to overdo it.
That is very important. You always want to stop when you've made progress. So it's brick by brick. If we're starting right now, he's at a level 1, we're going to stop while he reached that goal. We can come back and try to get a 2. But if we try to get a 2 right now, he's going to fail. He's going to be distracted. He's hot. So we're going to lose more progress than we just gained. So always stop while you're ahead, people. And brace yourself. Take your time. He's 4 months old, 5 months old?
5.5. We did the math last night.
5.5 months old. There's no rush to try to get this dog to be finished. The only thing that you're gonna do if you try to finish a dog by 6 months, by 8 months, you're gonna ruin the dog and you're gonna ruin the relationship that you have with that dog. And I'm telling you that from personal experience. I wanted Oakley to be finished at 7 months old, and we did all of this stuff with her. She took all the corrections and she was doing everything, and the competition that we were getting her ready for, she wasn't even able to compete because she went into heat. So I stressed her out. I did a lot of stuff, didn't really like her because she wasn't perfect, and it was all for absolutely nothing because she wasn't even able to compete at that time. So I've been having to undo a lot of stuff with her to get her to the point where now we go down to police dog competitions and it's just like a walk in the park. So don't make that mistake, because if you instill this stuff at this age where the dog doesn't like working with you, or you don't like working with that dog, it's going to be a long process trying to get back to that point, people. So take your time, build the dog up for your lifestyle, and just take care of your dog. Any questions?
No, but big things. Make sure recall is probably one of the first things you want to teach. Be patient with the process. Be patient with the puppy. Be patient with yourself. And then also repetition is key. And then make sure you always end on a good note. As always, people, take care of your dogs.